I love a bit of old railway infrastructure, and I also like fast cars. What if there was a place that combined 1800s Victorian engineering and modern, up-to-date aerodynamic testing? Wouldn't it be wonderful? Welcome to the Katesby tunnel. Welcome to the Katesby Welcome to the Katesby tunnel. Welcome to the Katesby Tunnel, the Victorian railway tunnel left abandoned for decades, which is now the world's longest indoor vehicle testing facility. That'll do. It all starts in 1864, when a Mr. Edward Watkins became chairman of the Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire Railway. He had the dream of owning and building a railway that would link the industrial towns of Sheffield and Manchester down to London and then on to Dover and through a channel tunnel into France. What a crazy idea. To achieve this dream, he also became the chairman of the South Eastern Railway and the Metropolitan Railway. Seems back then you could just decide to be chairman. The Metropolitan Railway were in the process of extending their existing lines from London to Buckinghamshire, whilst the South Eastern Railway were taking care of a London to Dover connection. With Watkins taking over these two companies, it gave him two large chunks of railway to go towards achieving his goal, but there was one vital link missing. How do you get the trains down from the north to Buckinghamshire, where they could use these newly constructed lines and get down to Dover and then on to France? So Watkins set about getting this vital link constructed from the north down to Buckinghamshire, and at first Watkins went on the search for another company to do all of the work because he couldn't really be bothered. However, after years of trying to find somebody to take the job on, he didn't find anybody, so decided, sod it, I'm going to have to construct it myself. The project would be named the London Extension Railway, and construction started in 1895. In terms of railway building, that was actually very late to the party, and it would make this the last mainline railway constructed right up until 2003, when the Channel Tunnel was finally built. And this might explain why all of England's railways are a little bit shit, because they were all built nearly 200 years ago. The London Extension Railway would run from Annesley in Nottinghamshire down to Quinton in Buckinghamshire, and it would allow the connection of the northern cities down to London and beyond. Unfortunately, Watkins never got to achieve his goal of getting trains over to France. There were two reasons for this. Firstly, it turns out building a channel tunnel in the 1800s was a lot more difficult than they thought, and secondly, he retired due to ill health. The railway would operate for a number of years, but it was never the roaring success that they'd hoped it would be. In 1966, beaching happened, and sections of the London Extension Railway were closed. One section would run from Rugby to Aylesbury, where it would see closure and the tracks lifted by 1970. Whatever was left over lay abandoned, leaving nothing but the odd visual reminder of the railway's existence. Such as this, the 2,740-metre long Katesby Tunnel. It was built as part of the London Extension Railway, with the first construction shaft being put in place in 1895. What's funny is that the tunnel wasn't actually really needed. The original plan was for the railway to go through a cutting. The reason it was built is because of a guy named Henry Attenborough, who didn't really want trains running through the Katesby Manor estate, something that he owned at the time. And remarkably, this is the first instance of NIMBYism ever recorded. No, not really, I just made that up. The tunnel was built at a rate of 100 metres a month, which at the time was very quick indeed. They utilised 9 construction shafts to lower in the equipment and workforce down into the tunnel, where they excavated around 220,000 cubic metres of earth. There are 5 ventilation shafts along the tunnel. They're still in place as per the original construction. However, now they've been capped off in order for the testing facility to keep conditions as consistent as possible. Along the course of the tunnel, there are reminders of the old railway. There are recesses in the walls, for example, where you would have taken cover should you be caught short when a train was approaching. What I wasn't aware of is that hidden along the tunnel there are 3 rooms to the side. I have no idea what the original intention behind these was. The guys here have said that they used them for a short while to put generators in to run the lighting, etc. Since then they put in a proper electric feed, so that's no longer required, and these side rooms have now been boarded up. But if anybody knows what these mysterious side rooms were used for back in the original railway tunnel days, please do let me know, because I don't know. Remarkably, the tunnel is almost arrow straight, with a very slight gradient of 1 in 176. It's almost 8.5 metres wide and 8 metres tall, and it was built to accommodate the larger European gauge of railway because Watkins wanted to send his trains straight over to France. A total of 30 million bricks were used during its construction, and don't worry, I counted just to check. The tunnel demonstrates the immense skill that the workforce used to have back in the late Victorian times. There wasn't any CAD design or laser director blah blah blah. All of that effort just for the tunnel to see maybe a maximum of 70 years of use before being abandoned. Until that is some years later, when HS2 would would eye up the tunnel as a potential route option for their new railway. HS2 didn't bother in the end and routed the railway elsewhere, but the tunnel caught the attention of a company called Aero Research Partners, who are based in Brackley. As the name might suggest, they're a partnership of companies that are involved with the research of aero, and it was these guys that decided to convert the Katesby tunnel into a vehicle testing facility. Planning permission was put forward in 2013, and after a few tweaks here and there, it was finally granted in 2017. Work commenced on repairing vital bits of the structure, as well as installing a proper tarmac roadway. The tunnel was finished in around November 2021, which means the whole process took 8 years. The Victorians built the entire tunnel in 3. At each end of the tunnel there are turntables, as you can see, to allow you to rotate the car around so you can go back. They're operated by remote control from the car, so if you are driving up and down here you get given a nice little key remote. We're at the far end of the tunnel now, and when they were constructing it they found that a lot of bats were living in the tunnel. They couldn't just turf them out, so they've been rehomed to this end of the tunnel where they've got a 100-metre stretch all to themselves, and they kind of nicknamed it the Bat Hotel. But why take an old decaying tunnel and convert it into a vehicle test track when surely any old airfield would do? You've got Silverstone just down the road, so why not test your vehicle there? Well, the answer is science. With a tunnel, you've got far greater consistency when it comes to any test that you'd like to do. There is no weather, and the temperatures remain constant in the tunnel all year round, so any test you do is repeatable. And in science, that's important. So what sort of test do they do here then? Well, pretty much anything you like. The tunnel operates on a hire basis, so you can pay the entrance fee and come down and test whatever you want. You could do 0 to 60 tests, high-speed runs, noise testing, and of course, aerodynamic testing. And that last one is what the creators of this place are probably more focused on due to the tunnel's unique properties. If you're the sort of company that needs to do some vehicle testing, then Katesby Tunnel has probably got everything that you need, and the day rate is half the price of the nearest racetrack. You also won't have to cancel as a result of the weather. This video is not sponsored in any way, but the guys at Katesby Projects were very kind in letting me come down and have a look around, so special thanks to them. Without them, this video wouldn't have happened. And there we are then, guys. That's the Katesby Tunnel. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you liked the video. I'll see you guys next time.
Well, that's fun, isn't it?